People used to treat me like I was nothing, but now everyone remembers the day I turned their mockery into a memory. I was just a 19-year-old black teen stepping into an elite jiu-jitsu dojo, clad in sweatpants and an old t-shirt, my heart racing with both excitement and uncertainty. Sensei Sean Reynolds, with his sharp tongue and arrogant sneer, decided I'd be the perfect target for his derision. "What are you doing here?" he scoffed, ridiculing my attire and background. But beneath that embarrassment, determination simmered. For weeks, I endured humiliation. Reynolds used me as a punching bag, punishing me for my ambition. I wore his disdain like armor. What he didn't know was that my uncle Marcus, a national champ, was my secret mentor, teaching me the art of jiu-jitsu in the shadows. Under his guidance and the quiet support of Jessica, a seasoned purple belt who saw my potential, I honed my skills in silence, ready to rise above the whispers. The turning point came when I donned my uncle's GI for the regional championship. I arrived not as the easy win they expected, but as an athlete determined to prove them wrong. In a shocking twist, I entered in the advanced category, my heart pounding with resolve. As the match commenced, I executed a flawless maneuver, wrapping it all up in just 14 seconds. With Sensei Reynolds' arrogance exposed, I reclaimed not just my dignity, but honor for my uncle. I walked away from that moment more than a victor. I became a beacon of inspiration, dedicated to sharing my hard-won knowledge with others from underserved backgrounds. Because real strength isn't just about dominance. It's about character, resilience, and lifting each other up. Jamal stepped into the dojo, his heart pounding with anticipation. The stench of sweat and mat grime filled the air, but he didn't mind. He was here to learn. Yet the moment Sensei Sean Reynolds caught sight of him, a sneer twisted on his lips. "Take a look at this," Reynolds barked, loud enough for everyone to hear. "You think you belong here in your sweatpants and t-shirt? Martial arts isn't a playground, kid." Laughter erupted from his classmates, leaving Jamal's cheeks burning with humiliation. "I'm ready to learn, Sensei," Jamal said, forcing his voice to stay steady, though dread laced his words. His hands balled into fists at his side. Responsibly stepped closer, towering over him. "Learn? From me? You don't even have the right gear. Go home, kid. This isn't for you." Days turned into weeks, and with every class, Jamal endured endless, degrading tasks, mopping floors while others practiced, being a punching bag for advanced students. Each jab by Reynolds was like a dagger aimed at his pride, yet Jamal absorbed each strike with a calm exterior. "Why do you put up with this?" Jessica Chun, a respected purple belt, asked quietly after class one day. "You have potential," hesitated, looking down at his shoes. "To honor my uncle." He never got a fair shot because of him. Little did Reynolds know, Jamal had been training secretly, honing techniques with his uncle Marcus's former protege. The day of the tournament approached, and with it, the moment for Jamal to flip the script. At the championship, Reynolds smirked as he entered Jamal in the beginners category, a disheartening oversight. Confident in his arrogance, he watched the match unfold, only to witness the shock on his face as Jamal, donning his uncle's GI, executed a flawless takedown in just 14 seconds. The gym fell silent, eyes training on the now humbled sensei. Jamal stood tall, not only claiming victory, but sparking a wave of truth. "Reynolds doesn't belong here," he declared, voice steady, amplified by echoes of disbelief and newfound courage. As Reynolds faced the consequences of his actions, Jamal smiled, knowing he had turned the tide, not just for himself, but for everyone who felt small in the shadow of power. Play. Jamal stood in the corner of the dojo, feeling the stares of his peers burn into his back. This was it, the moment he dreaded the most. Sensei Reynolds hovered over him, a smirk plastered across his face. "Look at Jamal, folks. Does he really belong here?" The laughter echoed around the room like a deafening roar. It was only sweatpants and a faded t-shirt, but to Reynolds they represented everything wrong with Jamal, his class, his ambition. Yet in the thick of sarcasm, Jamal clenched his fist tighter, a whirlwind of emotions swirling inside him. The past few weeks had been ugly, humiliation disguised as lessons, pushed back into failure time and again. It felt wrong, each insult a cruel reminder of his outsider status. His uncle had been a champion, a name once revered, now buried under a heap of jealousy Reynolds had mastered. And yet, with each shout of derision, Jamal learned. In secret, he honed techniques, absorbed tactics, and transformed pain into power. Jessica, the purple belt, had seen glimpses of his potential, but even her encouragement felt like a whisper under the weight of Reynolds's belittlement. Today, as the challenge was issued, a public display of skill, Jamal felt something shift within him. The air was thick with tension, a spark igniting something long held in. He would not be a punchline today. Against all odds, this time he would stand tall. The moment Reynolds looked into his eyes, betraying his typical mockery for sheer disbelief, Jamal realized that deep-rooted frustration had surged into clarity. He was ready for more than this. Jamal stood in the dojo, feeling the weight of Reynolds' scorn, but refusing to let it define him. "I'm here to learn, not to be your joke," he quietly murmured, his voice steady. As weeks passed, those words became his mantra, echoing through each humiliating session. With every blow, he recalled Uncle Marcus, the champion whose name was sullied by jealousy. In their secret sessions after class with Carlos, he gained skills, technique, and confidence, transforming pain into purpose. When Reynolds announced a tournament, Jamal's heart raced, not out of fear, but anticipation. "You're sure you want to do this?" Jessica asked, a supportive glint in her eyes. Jamal nodded, a calm resolve blooming within him. He laced up his shoes and donned his uncle's GI, feeling the fabric wrap around his commitment and honor. On the day of the match, Jamal entered the arena, nerves morphing into a quiet power. He saw Reynolds smirking, comfortable in his ignorance. As the match kicked off, Jamal moved with precision and agility, just like Uncle Marcus had taught him. Within 14 seconds, the match concluded with a resounding tap, his opponent caught off guard. As gasps filled the space, Jamal dusted himself off, looking straight into Reynolds' eyes. "Next time, don't underestimate anyone." With his words, he ignited change. Students began to speak up, sharing stories of mistreatment, while Jamal watched Reynolds' facade crumble, arrogance giving way to fear. This was the beginning, a reclaiming of space for him and others. Jamal embraced the truth that strength lies in character, not dominance, and his small victory foreshadowed a brighter future. The atmosphere in the dojo was thick with tension as Jamal Williams stepped onto the mat, the glint of determination in his eye. Sensei Sean Reynolds, smug and self-assured, strutted around, confidence derived from years of authority. His earlier mockery lingered in the air, trash-talking Jamal as he entered. "Hope you're ready to be humiliated." But Jamal wasn't there to play the fool. As the match commenced, Reynolds charged forward, underestimating his opponent's calm demeanor. In that moment, everything Jamal endured, the ridicule, the late-night training sessions with his Uncle Marcus's old tapes, the harsh words from Reynolds, flooded back. With fluid precision, Jamal anticipated Reynolds' attack. In just 14 seconds, he turned the tables. He dove, rolled, and executed a stunning takedown, pinning Reynolds down with graceful strength. The dojo fell silent, disbelief etched on every face. Sensei Reynolds' mouth dropped, his bravado shattered, leaving him exposed in vulnerability. As Jamal rose to his feet, the rush of moral victory washed over him. The silence of the other students shifted into whispers of awe and disbelief. This wasn't revenge, it was just justice. Reynolds, still sprawled on the mat, could do nothing but struggle to regain composure. The realization that he was outclassed by someone he had belittled consumed him. Moreover, in that electrifying moment, Jamal seized his chance. Addressing the students and onlookers, he courageously spoke about Reynolds' ongoing abusive conduct, urging previous victims to share their stories. With each word, the community started to rally, echoing Jamal's call for accountability. Retreating to the shadows, Reynolds' fiery arrogance extinguished as the tide turned against him. Disciplinary action loomed, and his reputation unraveled before the very students he had belittled. Jamal's heart swelled with quiet pride, not just for his victory, but for the truth revealed and the power shifted. Wilmington Jamal walked out of the dojo, not as a revenger, but as a hero, reshaping his world, unapologetically forging a path forward for others like him. As he left, the silent applause of support resonated in his heart, an echo of justice well earned. As Jamal Williams stood in the aftermath of his triumph, a whirlwind of emotions enveloped him. He had faced mockery and denigration from Sensei Sean Reynolds, but emerged not just as a victor in a tournament, but as a harbinger of change. Reflecting on the journey, he felt an immense weight lift from his shoulders. The humiliation, though painful, nurtured an inner strength that pushed him to prove not just his capability, but the integrity of his uncle's legacy. Making the decision to create a community dojo felt profoundly right, an opportunity to empower youth like himself, those who might feel unwanted in spaces dominated by socioeconomic privilege. Jamal knew that revenge wasn't enough. It was about reclaiming dignity and inviting others to share in the light of perseverance and hope. Now, as he stood at the threshold of a fresh beginning, the question lingered in his mind. Have you ever had someone treat you like that? He invites you to share your own experiences, stories of resilience or injustice. Join the conversation in the comments below. Let's weigh in on the intricate dance of right versus wrong, on power, bias, and the quest for justice. Your voice matters. In the